This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Al Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. It is a great sunny afternoon right here in the heart of Sharjah. I hope you're all having a blessed day and enjoying the sun. I think winter is officially over.
It's hot.
It is hot. It's officially over right here in the UAE. Lots is happening in the tech world, though, and we are very excited to share with you the latest on what is happening right here in the heart of Sharjah, because Sharjah is working on transforming its government to become a completely digital government that is offering a lot of services through different applications that we're going to be telling you all about them in just a few moments.
Yes, and we're talking also about the UAE Hackathon, which has launched a virtually under the motto Data for Happiness and Wellbeing. Now, we do always hear about hackathons in China and Japan and Asia and even the United States, but now the UAE has launched its own hackathon.
Yes, indeed. But if you're hungry this afternoon and if you're in the mood for some steak, Hani and I are going to be telling you about a very interesting form of food that is actually 3D printed.
Oh, yes, 3D printed steak. And if you're brave enough to have a bite of this 3D printed steak, we're going to tell you all about that in a bit. But also, we're talking about Samsung and how it's introducing a vital blood pressure and electrocardiogram tracking right here in the UAE. Now, we do know... Finally, because we do know that even for Apple Watches, it did take a while for us to get the full capability of the Apple Watch, and now Samsung is finally getting that as well.
Yes, great news for anyone who has a Samsung Galaxy Watch and is living right here in the UAE. But for our gadget of the day today, we're talking all about Blackberry coming back nowadays, but with brand new 5G capabilities. I feel like Blackberry died back in, 2012, 2013.
You know, Omnia, it's always there's a set status for people who have Blackberries. When you think of a Blackberry, you're thinking about some businessman who's rich.
Yes, I was just going to say.
That's what the Blackberry has. So let's see if it still has that star power and can bring in those consumers that want that status. But with the 5G capability, it is a good offer. But I do have some assumptions and speculations and conspiracy theories with the new Blackberry 5G smartphone. A lot to talk about right here on the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about Sharjah.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
You're excited. We're excited.
I thought it was my turn.
I thought it was my turn.
Really? We're excited to talk about Sharjah.
Yeah, it's an exciting story.
Yes, indeed. Sharjah is embracing a digital future, and we're going to be telling you all about how they're planning to integrate different applications to make Sharjah's government services a lot more easier for every user.
Yes, the Emirate of Sharjah has focused on exploring, developing, and implementing leading digital solutions to streamline services to UAE citizens, residents, and visitors across Sharjah. Now, we've been looking at the UAE as a whole, whether it's the capital, Dubai, Sharjah, anywhere in the UAE.
Yeah.
We're looking more at an electronically developed and based system, whether it's in the government sector or in the private sector. And now Sharjah has added on top of that, because this is not the first time we hear Sharjah doing something electronically. Now, we're talking about the Sahab Smart Solutions and how it is spearheading the digital transformation journey of the Emirates as part of the UAE's wider national economic development and diversification efforts.
Yes, indeed. Sahab Smart Solutions is actually partnering with the Sharjah government entities to help create a much more seamless interaction for every user to be able to get their services done. Now, a lot of you may be wondering, what will these different digital services include? Well, we're looking at Sahab actually working alongside private and public sectors to create a wide range of services through different applications that are powered by AI. These applications are also going to be making sure that our own information are not at risk whenever we are interacting online with different governmental services.
Yes, the entity does ensure that its clients get the full benefits by educating them on the process of digitization from business and consumer perspectives. Now, Amin Al-Zar'ouni, who is the CEO of Sahab Smart Solutions, said that they believe that digital transformation should begin with a transformation of the mindset. It's not just about getting access of technology of tomorrow. And they are going in collaboration with the Sharjah government, and some of their projects do include developing a centralized service management system for Sharjah Asset Management Holding. So we're looking at how they're trying to get all sectors of Sharjah government, whether it's Siwa or it's their own economic development.
Absolutely. They're also currently working on redefining e-commerce right here in the heart of Sharjah, and they actually recently debuted a platform that is being used at Souq Al-Haraj to help different consumers who are interested in buying old cars be able to do that very seamlessly. But they're also currently working on making e-learning become a much easier experience for students, teachers, as well as parents, because they've actually worked alongside Sharjah Private Education Authority to try and deliver more than 35 certified courses on an online application that they have developed. But they're also implementing artificial intelligence to make sure that every student's journey to learn a certain topic or a certain subject is personalized and not a one-size-fits-all.
Yes, and they're even working with the Sharjah Civil Defense that allows the local public, including citizens, residents, and companies, to easily access all the services provided by the department. Now, what I'm looking at right now is that soon enough we'll have an app or a platform for any type of government entity in Sharjah, and that way we can access any type of information, whether it's a Q&A, frequently asked questions, services, payments. So when we're having everything online, not only is it better and faster and it saves you a lot of time, but number two, we have to now connect everything with the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
Some people don't like to go out. Some people need to stay home because they have people in their household with chronic diseases. Maybe themselves have chronic diseases. So they would not like to go out in public and kind of be situated with people that they don't know of. So it's just making it much easier for people who have a lot of time on their hands. They don't have a lot of time on their hands. They can't go to these government entities, or people who just want to stay home because they're scared of COVID, which is 100% okay.
Government services right here in the heart of Sharjah will soon become one tap away. Let us know what applications are you excited for and that you wish to hopefully see being digitized alongside Sahab Smart Solutions. Coming up on the show, we're talking all about a UAE Hackathon that has launched virtually, and it has a very interesting motto. It's all about data for happiness and well-being. Keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Now, Omnia's looking at me, ladies and gentlemen, and I just surprised her.
What's going on?
Because I have my sunglasses on while I'm indoors.
I get that.
And you're probably wondering why.
I get that winter is over, but what's going on,
But you're probably wondering why. So if you guys want to see me, go to our YouTube at Pulse 95 Radio, and you'll see us live on YouTube. And I'm wearing my sunglasses right now.
Still trying to find out why.
Because we're talking about hackers.
Oh,
yes.
We're talking about good hackers.
Good hackers, but hackers are hackers. So we're talking about the UAE Hackathon and how it's being launched virtually under the motto, Data for Happiness and Wellbeing. Now, we're looking at white hat hackers, but in general, the word hacker just makes me think about some guy in sunglasses with a hat going away undercover hitting codes. Now, the Telecommunications Regulatory Authority, TRA, has announced the launch of the 4th edition of the UAE Hackathon, Data for Happiness and Wellbeing, which is organized by the TRA virtually with the support from the National Program for Happiness and Wellbeing across the 7 Emirates in the country.
Yes, indeed. Now, the UAE Hackathon is one of the UAE's effective steps to try and implement leadership, but also maintain excellence. And this is all to recognize the UAE's vision for the year 2021. Because we did just hit the 50th anniversary. It's the Golden Jubilee year. And the 4th edition of this hackathon is actually complementing all these efforts and the support that has been provided by the Telecommunications Regulatory Authority, but also the different partners that have been becoming or involved in this hackathon to try and create and turn every innovative idea into a successful business and project in Sharjah and in different Emirates.
Yes, now the launch of the 4th Hackathon edition did see the participation from 21 government and federal and academic entities, where the hackathon registrations have reached a record number of 1,500 participants who will compete to provide the best ideas and solutions for 49 challenges and 11 topics.
Yes.
And they're all endorsed by the TRA to achieve targets of the National Online Service Index, or known as OCI, in which the UAE does aim to be the first, thus contributing to realize the UAE National Agenda 2021. 2021.
Absolutely. Now, the best part about this hackathon is actually that students get to be a part of it. And many schools, many universities have actually been involved in this hackathon because at the end of the day, it is those youngsters who have big minds and big plans for the future. And they're trying to create a smart government, create smart automation solutions to get the best technologies out there right here in the heart of Sharjah and in the different Emirates.
Yes, the UAE Hackathon actually does reflect the meaning of partnership and collaboration between the government, academia, companies, and community members to emphasize that the culture of innovation is an integral part of the qualification and education mechanisms right here in the UAE, which in turn does embody the four aspects of the UAE Vision 2071, which is creating a future-oriented government, providing future education, and even creating a diverse knowledge economy and a more cohesive society. Now, it's amazing that right here we are acknowledging how important technology innovation is for the future, whether it's going to the Hope Probe Mars mission or having Hazad Mansour go to the space station. Space right here in the UAE. We just talked about the segment before how Sharjah is going. Most of Sharjah's entities are going digital and electronically.
Exactly.
So this is all in vision with what the UAE does have in mind, and we're on the right path.
Yes, indeed. And if you're wondering about when did this registration for the hackathon take place, it started out on the 1st of February, and the second phase actually is taking place starting from today up until the 20th of February. It's going to be covering intensive team training according to the different challenges that they are involved in. The third and final stage of this hackathon will basically have these teams be divided by their locations in the 7 Emirates, and the best 3 teams are going to be selected from each and every emirate. The results will be announced during the UAE Hackathon closing ceremony that will be taking place on the 6th of March of this year.
Yes, very interesting. Very excited to see who wins and who doesn't. Ladies and gentlemen, let's know your guys' thoughts. 4215 Dura Thought or on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. When we come back, we're talking about food. We're talking about steaks, but not any type of steak. A 3D printed steak.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
I mean, who doesn't love steak? And out of all the forms of steak that I wanted to consider, I would never think that I would actually be a fan of 3D printed steak.
You know, Omnia, I don't know why, but this old song just came into my brain.
Which is?
When we talked about steak. Now, you do know what steak means in Arabic, or meat in Arabic means lahmi.
Yeah, lahmi.
Lahmi or lahm. So I remember back in YouTube 2008, lahmi, lahmi, lahmi. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking about.
I was just going to say, is it that song?
I don't know why. I just think lahmi, lahmi,
because
lahmi
the lahmi looks like a lahmi that your dad would barbecue.
Yeah, well, now a company which is called Aleph Farms is the first to 3D print a ribeye steak using proprietary bioprinting technology and even cultured animal cells. Now, cuts of the cultivated meat could sell for $50 each, but obviously in America, it does need FDA approval.
I'm sorry to anyone tuning into us right now who is feeling a little bit hungry at 2:30 p.m. and in time for lunch, but this steak is definitely a very interesting form of 3D printing food coming to life, because we've always talked about 3D bioprinting and the different systems that try to mimic the way animals are actually used to give us food, you know, and we've seen different vegan options, but 3D printed steak is by far the most recent of them all.
And our good friend, ex-CEO, our founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates, actually came out yesterday and said that rich nations should shift entirely to synthetic beef.
Yes.
So, I mean, even Bill Gates, who is arguably one of the richest men in the world, is even saying, hey, go and get that fake steak. And I mean, because it does say a fact that it is good for the environment as well.
Yeah.
Now, it does come closer to a real cut of beef than other types of meats. Now, it does thank it to precise 3D bioprinting and system that does mimic the vascularization in animals. And you're probably wondering, what about my nutrients? Well, the nutrients can spread across the cut during the process, even granting the steak a familiar shape and texture.
Now, this is not going to be coming to life for a few years from today, but we've definitely seen similar forms of food being 3D printed. We've talked about 3D printed Japanese sweets, 3D printed chicken, and now 3D printed steak. You're getting hungry.
I want to 3D print money. Imagine, there's probably someone who's done it.
There's definitely people who've done it, but I don't know how ethical this can be or if it's ethical at all.
It's not ethical and it's illegal.
Exactly. And for those of you who are wondering, just like farmed meat, this form of steak would need FDA approval so that they can go ahead and track the growth of cultivated meat to try and protect the public health. And if you're wondering how it happens, they'll basically take a few cells, let's say a few animal cells or a few cells of a steak, and grow them artificially in a certain lab until it becomes a 3D printed steak right in front of you.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, a lot of fruits and vegetables are artificially grown.
Yes.
So, I mean, why not try and have a test at the steak? 4215 on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. Would you eat a 3D printed steak?
Would you?
I mean, I put anything in my stomach.
Oh, God.
Especially now. So, yes, I would eat a steak, a 3D printed steak. And you, Omnia?
I'd be on the fence. I'd have a bite, but I don't think I'd have it all.
Let's ask the listeners and audience, 4215 or on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. 3D printed steak, yay or nay?
Yes, indeed. Coming up on the show, we still have lots in store. We're talking all about Samsung introducing the brand new ECG tracking and blood pressure feature that is brand new only right here in the UAE.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
What's worth a click and download? Guess who I just saw, Omnia?
What did you just see?
Our very own Abdul Karim Hanif.
Yes.
From the Morning Majlis, right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just
Making
saw.
his grand debut on today's news story.
On today's news story. Now, we're talking about Samsung. Now, it's introducing a vital blood pressure and electrocardiogram tracking right here in the UAE. Now, we've been talking about how Apple, for the longest time, needed to get their CG, what was it called?
It's an ECG feature.
ECG, yes,
yeah.
the ECG.
And they just had to get a lot of regulations and approvals
and we
for
got
it to be.
I believe last year.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe 2020 is now last year, but yes, last year.
And now, finally, Samsung is getting the memo in 2021.
Yes, indeed. So this is an application that you won't have to go ahead and download on your Apple Watch. It will be built in. All you have to do is update your Samsung Galaxy Watch, because any citizen living right here in the UAE can now monitor their heart's health and be able to meet all of the wellness objectives that many wearables tend to set for our bodies. So anyone with a Galaxy Watch 3, a Galaxy Watch Active 2 user, and any other Galaxy Watch that's from that set can go ahead and utilize the blood pressure and the ECG tracking benefit through that application. So what does this mean for any user? That means that if, let's say, there's an irregular heart rate, if, for example, your blood pressure has changed, it went too high or it's too low, you'll be notified immediately.
Yes, now high blood pressure is commonly linked to brain, kidney, and heart diseases, and if left untreated, it can lead to a stroke and coronary heart disease. But Galaxy smartwatches are able to measure blood pressure via the Samsung Health Monitor app, which does provide users with deeper insight into health and does allow them to make more informed decisions about their wellness. Now, we've talked about a lot of stories related to the Apple Watch and how it has saved countless number of lives, because it'd be like, hey, your heart rate isn't doing that well. For the past couple of days, you haven't been sleeping well and your heart goes a little bit too high when you're asleep. So a lot of lives have been saved because of the Apple Watch, and now the Galaxy Watch does want to do the same do.
Yes, indeed. And a lot of you may be wondering, how can it measure our blood pressure without using, the traditional cuff that wraps just around your arm? Well, it does that through you wearing the device itself, because it can actually measure your pulse waves and analyze them and track them with the heart rate monitoring sensors that are found within that watch. So all you'll have to do to find out how your blood pressure is at a specific moment is open up the watch, simply tap on the blood pressure app, and you can find exactly what your blood pressure is at any given moment. The program can also analyze the relationship between the blood pressure change and the calibration value. So you can also get an average blood pressure of how your body is or how your heart is doing at any specific day.
Yes, now to take the blood pressure and electrocardiogram measurements, users must have the Samsung Health Monitor app installed on both the Galaxy Watch 3 or Galaxy Watch Active 2 and their Galaxy smartphone. The Samsung Health Monitor app is automatically installed when users do update their Galaxy smartwatch to the latest version of the Galaxy wearable app. Now, the smartwatch will then open a link which will direct users to the smartphone app download page in the Galaxy Store app. So everything is pretty self-explanatory when you have that Samsung Watch. If you have tried out that feature, I want you guys to text us in at 4215 Dur Salat.
Yes. Now, one tip whenever you're using this application is make sure you're seated comfortably so that, you're not stressed or anxious or sitting in an uncomfortable position, because that can definitely impact what your blood pressure is at that moment. But also make sure that the watch is fitted very firmly on your wrist, because at the end of the day, this is exactly how it's going to go ahead and measure your heart rate. Apart from that, let us know your experience. I'm excited for anyone who is especially, in their 40s, 50s, suffering from any blood pressure diseases. You could be younger, but anyone who has any blood pressure disease, I think this makes a great gift for someone, but also a great lifesaver.
Yeah, now a lot of experts were saying in a recent post that it's becoming kind of a necessity to have a wearable on you just in case, whether it's a finger ring,
yes,
a finger
ring,
or a necklace. There's a lot of gadgets that will monitor, and whether it's your heart, your blood pressure, there's a lot of gadgets. Some even are opting for a chest band.
Our own Ahmed Duri has that.
Yes.
So it's a heart monitor that straps immediately right onto your chest. So lots of wearables are out there on the market. I think they make great gifts. So instead of going ahead and gifting, an expensive bracelet or a certain watch, gift them a smartwatch, because it's something that will live with them forever.
Yes. Now a lot of actually designer brands like jewelry, etc. They're jumping into that smartwatch business as well, an electronic watch business, because it's a business that you can't go wrong with. Now, we're talking about Apple Watches. Rich and poor have Apple Watches because, again, it's becoming a necessity, and Apple is making it even easier to accumulate one with the Apple Watch SE, and you can even get a lower version, and it's still going to be opt. I mean, I'm still rocking the Apple Watch 4.
Same.
So, I mean, and
it still works.
And we're going into 7, and we're going to go to 7 this year. So it's still working. I'm still rocking it. So, if you'd want, go get your hands on a Galaxy Watch or an Apple Watch.
Yeah, and the best part about it is that it's not like with usual, accessories. Whenever something new comes out on the market, you go ahead and buy it, because with this, every feature that gets updated will be updated on the operating system, so you'll also get to enjoy it no matter what version of that wearable you have. Coming up on the show, we still have lots in store for you all, so make sure you keep Pulse 95 locked, and we'll be right back.
Gadget of the day.
New tech you might want to play with.
Pulse 95.
Whenever I talk about or hear about Blackberries, I immediately think back to the good old teenage years. The days when having a Blackberry was like the coolest thing out there. But I'm sure to many people in different ages, this may remind them of a different era or a different time in their lives. So let us know. Our text lines are open, 4215 Dur Salat. What does the Blackberry mean to you? But also, what does it remind you of? Tahani, I think it reminds you of businessmen.
It reminds me of businessmen. Anyone who meant anything would have a Blackberry. And now we're looking at Blackberry trying to get into the move of 5G.
Did you have the curve or the bold?
I had the curve, I had the bold, I had the torch.
I don't even remember the torch.
Yeah, I had the torch. It was brand new technology. Swipe it up, touch screen, everything.
Oh, God. So you've tried them all. Which one was your favorite? I have a feeling it's the bold.
It's the Blackberry Bold was my favorite.
Because you do like the grip of the iPhone 12, the iPhone 5, so...
It was a fun time. Blackberry Messenger was super fun.
Pin.
Yeah, Blackberry Messenger, MSN, it was good times. Right now we have a lot of mediums to communicate with each other. But back in the day, you had Blackberry Messenger. And even if someone say, hey, talk to me on WhatsApp, because WhatsApp was starting back then. And what's up? Nah, man. We'll stick to Blackberry.
What's your BB pin? Yeah. That was the phrase of the century back then.
Yeah, broadcast messages were fun back then. Now they're annoying. Like, no, I don't care. So it was fun, but now BlackBerry is trying to make it again, and they will have a classical physical keyboard. Now, Texas-based startup Onward Mobility does say, and they're BlackBerry's new owner, and they have confirmed that they will launch new devices later this year, and they are speculated to have 5G technology.
This is going to be groundbreaking for anyone who's ever owned a BlackBerry, because it's coming with a new design, new features, but I feel like the same design, because they do want to keep the physical keyboard, which it's going to be interesting to see if people will be lured or attracted to that design of phone now that we have basically phones that are 90% screen, 10% hardware. But the company is also working to create phones that will be a lot more secure than any other phone that you've seen before. There isn't much information regarding the device itself or even when do we expect to have it out there in the market. But a lot of people are saying that reports have been coming out since last year that Blackberries will be making a return to Europe and North America this year under a licensing partnership with a new company called Onward Mobility and FIH Mobile Limited.
Listen, I know that iPhones are amazing. I know that we have a lot of smartphones that do a lot of great things.
Yeah.
But come on, BlackBerry's design was out of this world. Now, I'm looking right now at the BlackBerry Passport. That hopefully I can get it on there, like a BlackBerry Passport.
If you're tuning in to Pulse 95 Radio on YouTube, you'll see it.
I mean, it just screams to you, I mean something in life. It screams to you that, hey, if I have this phone in my hand, I'm talking business.
And it brings back so many memories.
And by the way, BlackBerry was very famous and well known for their security.
Yes.
Not anyone could get into a BlackBerry, and that's why a lot of businessmen and a lot of political figures in the United States were using BlackBerries because it was super encrypted at the time. And no one could get into Blackberries. But unfortunately, BlackBerry did go with that downhill fall, and iPhones took over, and they did kind of took a while to adapt to, hey, not everyone wants a physical keyboard now.
Yes.
But they are sticking to their business plan and their business model with keyboards, physical keyboards, to be implemented in their new design this year.
I like that because I feel like they have a certain trademark and they're keeping that trademark. Unlike, let's say, Apple or Samsung. If Samsung comes out with a folding phone, Apple the next day decides to create a folding phone. So
I mean, I want a folding phone. I'll tell you that. I want one. I want an Apple folding phone. As I like to read books, I like to watch YouTube on it. And again, a folding phone would kill the tablet industry. I'm telling you, it would kill the tablet industry in a way of not if only solo using a tablet, but for example, as someone like me, I watch a lot of YouTube videos on my phone. So having that tablet, open it up and have it in my hand, it would be awesome.
Insomnia for ages.
Instead of the iPad mini, for example.
Yes.
So, I mean, why not? Let us know your guys' thoughts, 4215, do a slot, or on our Instagram, at Pulse95 Radio. Would you jump on the new BlackBerry with the 5G technology physical keyboard? Do you miss it? And I want to know you guys' greatest memories with BlackBerry.
Yes, I definitely think I would actually go for the BlackBerry. I would leave my Apple for a BlackBerry because there's just so many memories associated with it, and I think it would be nice to return back to a phone that you had at some point of your life and see what changed with it.
I mean, if I could turn back time, Omnia, and I would go to a time at my age right now, I would choose the BlackBerry age.
Oh, okay.
The 2011 all the way up to 2014. We saw the downfall after 2014, mid-2014.
Yeah.
After the iPhone 5S or the iPhone 5, it just killed everything. And I want to know your guys' thoughts, man. That's my personal opinion. We want to know yours.
Yes, Future Talk is coming to an end, but you can catch us again, same time, same place tomorrow from 2 to 3 p.m. Until then, we're going to be opening the airwaves for Afternoon Karak with the half of the halftime show. Wow, half of the dream team. Mikhail Ati will be keeping you company with all that is happening in pop culture and the entertainment industry. What shows and movies are they reviewing? That's something that you can catch from 4 to 5 p.m. Hani is already preparing to exit to the real world right now.
I'm ready right now. I got my shades on, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys do want to see it, our YouTube channel is always open at Pulse95 Radio, and you can see today's episode as well if you're just tuning in. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, only here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.